Hello everyone. In this video we're going to continue building a Rapunzel themed toy box. This will be the third video that I'm doing of building this toy box, and it's been a couple weeks since I worked on this toy box last, so I'm going to remind everyone what we did last time while building this toy box. So when a player collects an object, I want it to have a different score depending on how long or how much time has passed since the object appeared and you had to go collect it. So if it's within 1 minute, I want it to award, I think it was 25 points. If it's after that, it would be like 10 or something, and then after anything over 3 minutes would be 5 points. So if you don't remember that, you can watch the second video of building this toy box. But for this one, I want to work on setting up the challenge maker and making this mini game work. So first, I am going to need a few toys. I'm going to use a timer, because how I want the gameplay to go is that if you're playing 2 players or 1 player, I want it to have a scoreboard, and once you reach a certain amount of points, you complete the challenge. And the player with the best time would be the player that wins. Or so each player would have to get to, I don't know, like 100 points or something, just for an example. And once the first player or 1 player reaches the 100 points, it would log the time completion for that player, and then the other player would also get to continue to play until they reach the point total, and then it will log the time completion for the other player. And it would also be fun to do for just playing 1 player, so you could try to beat your fastest times, right? So I want this timer to be a score result for this challenge maker. And the time is going to go from low to high, so I want it to count upwards. So I'm going to go into the properties, and I'll have the target be the highest time possible, just because I don't want to limit too much of the amount of time that you can play, and it shouldn't take you that long anyways to complete it. And I want the I want the time to be the only visual display timer, so I'm going to turn off the other one's visual display. And I also do not want it to count down from the target time, because I'm doing score low to high, or time low to high, sorry. But I do want it so when the time expires, it will game failed. Doesn't need to be. I really don't think anyone's going to play this for many hours and not reach the time. And I also want that timer to reset when the game is ended. And when the game is started, I want that timer to start. And then I have the scoreboard here, which I set up how the players receive points last time. I'll change the properties of it. I don't know what I'm going to do for the final score or for the final product, but for testing purposes, I'm going to go 100. 100 points. Win by 2 is off, and I do want it to be visually displayed so you know how much points you have. And when player 1 reaches 100 points, I want it to log player 1 completion. So then it will record the time that the player 1 reached that score. I also want to do the same thing for player 2 because I made it so it can be a 2-player game. So when player 2 reaches 100 points, it will log player 2 completion. And I have this logic gate here, more of an anchor in case I need to change some logic later, instead of having everything go straight from the challenge maker. So I want, when the challenge maker ends, or when the game ends, I want this logic gate to receive an input. Because after the game's ended, I don't want the objects to continue to appear in the towers that I'm going to build. So then when it outputs, it will clear all of these replayers. And I'm also going to have it close the logic gates that are connected to the dynamic triggers and the button prompts, so they won't appear once. So the button prompts won't appear if you are not in the challenge. And what else was I going to do? All right. So then also when this outputs, I want this logic gate to open. And I also want the other logic gates to open because I want those dynamic trigger areas to not to turn off. Remember, I have them so when these logic gates are closed, those dynamic trigger areas are turned on, and when they're opened, they will turn off. Alright, and I did realize it was unnecessary for me to have 2 sets of these timers. I could have just had one and close the separate logic gates for the player's possible score once they collect the objects. But it's okay that I did it this way just in case I have to change something. It'll make it a little easier. So I do not want these timers to have a visual display because I want the only visual display to be the primary time that's going to be the score results. I want, when the challenge maker ends, to reset the scorecard. Well, no. That's not as important as when it begins, when the invites are accepted. So scorecard, when the game ended, yeah, I don't want that one anymore. So, when the invites are accepted, or I could go started. I think I'll go started. When the game starts, oh, I will go invites accepted. I like that better. When invites are accepted, this will reset. And I have that, so it will log the completions. When I want this starts, to press this button here, so then it will start the randomizer, and it will have the random locations for the objects to appear, and then we can go collect them. And there's something else I want to do. I can't think of it right now. Oh yeah, I remember. I will want a checkpoint, because I'm gonna put this where it needs to be once I get more of the toy box built. But for now, and testing purposes, it's just going to be here. I want the players to teleport once they reach the score total that they're supposed to achieve to complete the challenge. So when player 1 wins, I want them to teleport here. The reason I want them to teleport there is because I don't want them to continue to be able to play in the challenge and keep collecting objects and gaining points after they've already completed it, because it will mess with the time that they achieve once they reach the top score again. So when they finish, they have to wait for the other players. So I want to teleport player 2 when player 2 completes. Alright. And I think I should be ready to test it out. Now, for testing purposes, I am going to, since it is a 2-player, I'm going to have a second player here. Alright, let's give it a try. Now this is the first time I've also tested the locators that are locations for the dynamic triggers and the button prompts. So we're going to see if it actually works. I know it will because I know I did it right. But it's going to be the first time that you all can see it. Now remember, I don't have any objects appearing yet with the replayers because I am going to wait until I have the final location that I want them to appear at. So here I want to, alright, I think I might have, there we go, collect. Am I missing something? There, collect. I got 25 points because I collected it within the first minute. No. Oh, now it's here. Collect. And now here. Collect. And one more, and I will reach the total. Now, player 1 has teleported to that checkpoint. So let's do this with player 2. Player 2. Here we go. I walked within that area. I'm going to collect, receive 25 points. Received another 25 points. Go to this one. Now I need one more, and it should complete the challenge. And it did, because I did a great job. Alright, and there's the places for score. I think I have the challenge maker wrong. I think it's time high to low when it should be low to high. So I guess that's what testing's for, right? I'll see. I have results, points high to low, and I want it to be time. And the order will be low to high. There, that's better. Now for the next video, I will start decorating and building the rest of the toy box. That's kind of time consuming, so through a lot of that video I will kind of speed through it, and some parts that I think are necessary I'll explain in detail though, and slow it down a little bit. But thanks for watching. Bye.